Welcome, student brothers, educators, and lifelong learners, to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving into a deeply fascinating framework, one that's going to completely elevate how we view learning. We're looking at traditional Islamic perspectives on education, and, we'll see how this source material frames the pursuit of knowledge. It's not just some mundane chore, right, or just a simple pathway to a job. No, it's framed as an incredibly profound journey for both the mind and the soul.
To really grasp this perspective, we have to start at the absolute beginning. Iqra, which translates to read. According to Islamic theology, this was the very first word revealed to humanity by the Creator. Now pause for a second and ask yourself, why reading? Why wouldn't the Creator's very first message to humanity focus on, say, prayer or fasting? The texts we're examining suggest that without education, humanity is effectively blind. It establishes that learning is literally a divine calling, the foundational step before any other act of faith can even be understood.
Section 1. The Divine Command. Okay, let's dive into this.
We're shifting away from seeing education as just this worldly task and instead understanding it as a fundamental religious duty. The source material lays out exactly how this divine command shapes daily life, and it completely redefines the whole concept of a school. It's not merely some physical building where you go to just memorize books and pass tests. No, it's framed as a sacred training ground. It's a place for building humanity, shaping the entire future of a community, and learning essential manners, or adab. The text heavily emphasizes that the right school environment literally has the power to change a nation's destiny.
And this whole concept is anchored by a very famous statement from Prophet Muhammad which says, "Acquiring knowledge is obligatory for every Muslim." The key word to focus on here is obligatory, or fard. This tells us that within this worldview, seeking education, it's not an optional hobby. It's not something you do only if you happen to have some free time. It's a strict requirement for success in both this world and the hereafter.
Because it's an obligation, the intention behind going to school matters immensely. The proper intentions for a student are to genuinely acquire knowledge, to use that knowledge to actively help others, and to work for the betterment of society. The ultimate goal highlighted in our source isn't just snagging a high-paying salary or a prestigious title. It's fundamentally about becoming a good, beneficial human being.
Section 2. Mentors and sacrifices. Because every student hero needs a solid support system on their journey.
Now, every student is essentially a hero on a grand journey, but absolutely no hero succeeds alone. Let's look at the crucial support system that makes this journey even possible. On one side, you have the teacher, who doesn't just deliver lectures, but actively builds the future and can change thousands of lives over a single career. On the exact opposite side, you have the parent, working under the scorching sun or laboring through the night, sacrificing their own comfort daily for their child's future. The text strongly urged students never to take these two pillars for granted. Their immense sacrifices demand the absolute utmost respect.
So, how does a student repay that immense sacrifice? Well, it's not just through getting straight A's. An ideal student in this framework is defined by character. They don't lie, they deeply respect their teachers, they avoid petty fights, they uplift their friends, and they're highly punctual with their studies. And this brilliantly illustrates how simple, daily habits build a student's honor and truly honor their mentors.
Section 3. Overcoming modern distractions. Time to look at the trials and tribulations our student hero actually faces today. Of course, the path of a student is rarely easy. I want you to really think about this for a second. With all the access to information we have right now, what is today's ultimate problem for students? Why is achieving this ideal so incredibly difficult for us today? Our source material points directly to these modern pitfalls. Students today are literally drowning in their mobile phones. This digital distraction leads to a massive disconnect, where they start ignoring the very real hardships of their parents and developing this casual disrespect for their teachers. Combine this with falling in with the wrong crowd, and you've got a recipe that can easily derail a student's sacred mission. It is heartbreakingly easy to let these modern traps just destroy a bright future.
And speaking of the crowd you fall in with, choosing your friends is presented as a crucial make-or-break test in school. Just look at the contrast here. A good friend is an anchor. They call you to prayer, encourage good deeds, and help you dream big. Conversely, a bad friend will systematically dismantle your character, and by extension, your entire future.
Section 4. Balancing both worlds. We're reaching the climax of the journey here, finding the harmony between faith, or deen, and the material world, the dunya.
So, the crucial point is why balancing Islamic and worldly education is absolutely necessary. Maintaining this delicate balance is key. If you only focus on worldly education, just chasing degrees and wealth, the source warns this often leads to a hollow arrogance. But on the exact opposite end, if you completely ignore the world and only focus on spiritual isolation, well, society stagnates and falls backward.
This tension is probably most obvious when balancing prayer versus studies. The Islamic perspective insists that one simply cannot be abandoned for the other. You can't skip your studies and use prayer as an excuse, just as you can't abandon your prayers just because you're busy studying. True success requires holding on to both simultaneously.
Threading all of this together is the harsh reality of time. School life is incredibly fleeting. It feels like it's going to last forever when you're in it, but it vanishes in a blink. The source offers a firm warning to us here. Those who waste this specific window of time will face deep, deep regret, while those who grasp its value will find true success. Time lost cannot be reversed, for sure.
Section 5. Blueprint for true success. Let's move to our final act and look at the ultimate solution for the student.
So how do we guarantee we don't waste that precious time? The source material offers an ultimate blueprint and outlines the identity a student should strive to forge. A true Muslim student is polite, rigorously honest, incredibly hardworking, and possesses an unbreakable, strong character. The goal is that when you walk into a room, people should be able to look at your conduct and instantly say, wow, this is a true Muslim.
But hey, what happens when you stumble? Because, let's be real, you will. The source material is beautifully comforting here. Failing an exam or stumbling in your goals absolutely does not mean you have failed at life. The process is simple. You acknowledge the setback, you firmly remember that failure is not the end of your story, and you use it as a powerful opportunity to begin again with much more wisdom.
All of this builds into an ultimate success formula. It starts with your physical effort, hard work. Let's move to and see how this builds. Next, that effort is paired with spiritual connection, prayer or dua. When results are delayed, you apply patience or sabr. You maintain consistency in your daily habits. And finally, overarching everything is tawakkul, a deep, unshakable trust in the Creator's plan for you. These 5 pillars interlock perfectly.
Which brings us to our final thought today. Having seen this profound, holistic framework where every book you open and every test you take is part of a divine journey, what will be your intention the next time you step into a classroom? Will it just be another chore? Or will you embrace it as the sacred mission it was always meant to be? Think about that and keep learning.